Every month, millions of people receive their salary, and within days, it's gone. Rent, groceries, bills, a few small purchases here and there, and suddenly you're left staring at your bank balance wondering, where did all my money go? If that sounds like you, today's video is exactly what you need. Because budgeting isn't just for wealthy people, financial nerds, or spreadsheet lovers. Budgeting is simply a plan that tells your money where to go, instead of wondering where it disappeared. And in this video, I'll walk you through 10 beginner-friendly budgeting tips taken from the most effective, proven methods used by real financial experts. These are the same principles that helped countless people go from broke, stressed, and confused to confident, debt-free, and finally in control. And to create this video, I've studied hours of budgeting tutorials, real-life examples, expert breakdowns, and conversations from people who changed their financial life using these exact tips. So stick with me till the end, because each tip builds on the previous one, and tip 10 might be the one that finally unlocks long-term consistency for you. Ready? Let's jump in. Tip 1. Use real numbers, not guesses. Have you ever looked at your bank balance at the end of the month and felt totally blindsided because it doesn't match the budget you had in your head? Most people build budgets based on what they think they spend, not what they actually spend. And that's where the disaster begins. Someone might confidently say, I probably spend $150 on groceries, but when they check their bank statement, it's closer to $260. Another person says, I don't spend much eating out, until they notice 5 food delivery charges they completely forgot about. Small habits add up quietly, and they're almost impossible to catch unless you track them. That's why your first step is simple. Go back to last month's statement and write down every single expense, no matter how small. Your real numbers will probably surprise you, but they'll also give you something powerful, a clear, honest starting point. Because once you understand where your money truly goes, you can finally create a budget that works in real life, not just in your imagination. Tip 2. Give every dollar a job. Zero-based budgeting. Have you ever wondered why money disappears so quickly, even when you thought you were being careful? It's usually because the money had no direction. Think of your income like a team of workers. If you don't give them a job, they won't stand around waiting for orders. They'll wander off into impulse purchases, late-night snacks, subscriptions you forgot about, or things you didn't really plan for. This is where zero-based budgeting becomes a game changer. Instead of saving whatever is left, you flip the formula and decide exactly where every dollar should go the moment it enters your account. Rent, food, bills, savings, debt, fun money, everything gets its own place. When your income minus your expenses equals 0, it doesn't mean your bank account is empty. It means every dollar has a purpose. Nothing floats around waiting to disappear. And suddenly, for the first time, you'll feel like you're in control. Not your urges, not your habits, not your impulses. Just you telling your money exactly where to go. Tip 3. Set goals for your money. Have you ever tried sticking to a budget but lost motivation halfway through because you didn't really know why you were doing it? That's what happens when you budget without goals. It feels like you're restricting yourself for no reason. But when you attach your money to something meaningful, a small emergency fund, clearing a debt, buying something important, or just having more breathing room, everything changes. It's like planning a road trip. If you don't choose a destination, you'll just drive around wasting fuel. But the moment you set a clear destination, the entire journey starts to make sense. Even your smallest decisions feel intentional. Take a moment and write down 1 to 3 specific goals you want to hit in the next 90 days. They don't need to be big, they just need to matter to you. Once your budget supports those goals, you're no longer cutting back, you're building towards something. And that simple shift from restriction to purpose is what keeps people consistent long enough to see real financial progress. Tip 4. Separate wants from needs. Be honest. Have you ever looked at a purchase and convinced yourself it was a need, even though deep down you knew it wasn't? This happens to almost everyone. We blur the line between wants and needs without even realizing it. Rent, groceries, electricity, those are true needs. But things like eating out, new clothes, upgrading your phone, or buying that daily fancy coffee, those fall into the want category, even if they feel essential in the moment. The tricky part is that wants can disguise themselves as needs when we're stressed, tired, or simply trying to comfort ourselves. And by the end of the month, those little disguised wants quietly drain our money. So here's a simple exercise. Look at last month's spending and highlight everything that wasn't absolutely necessary for survival or basic comfort. You don't have to cut all your wants, just reduce a few of them. Even removing one regular want can create space in your budget instantly. When you finally see the difference clearly, your spending becomes more intentional and your money stretches further than you thought possible. Tip 5. Plan for irregular expenses. Has your month ever been going perfectly until one unexpected expense suddenly destroys your whole budget? What's funny is that most of these unexpected expenses aren't unexpected at all. Your car will eventually need servicing. Birthdays and holidays will always come around. Medical visits, school fees, annual renewals, they don't appear every month, but they always show up at some point. When we don't plan for them, they feel like emergencies. And that's when people end up using credit cards, loans, or pulling from savings they didn't want to touch. The solution is simple. Create a small irregular expenses fund. Set aside a little money every time you get paid, whatever amount fits your budget. This fund becomes your financial cushion for all the things you know will happen, just not every month. And when one of those costs finally arrives, you won't feel stressed or blindsided. You'll feel prepared, because instead of breaking your budget, those irregular expenses will slide in smoothly, exactly the way you planned. Tip 6. Build a small emergency fund. Have you noticed that emergencies never wait for a good time? They always show up when you're already stressed or tight on money. Mini story. It could be a sudden car issue, a medical visit, a broken appliance, or something as simple as needing a quick repair at home. Without an emergency fund, even a small problem can feel huge. And that's usually when people reach for credit cards, loans, or money they were saving for something else. But when you have even a small buffer, something as manageable as $300 to $600, it turns crisis moments into simple inconveniences. You breathe easier because you're prepared. Payout. Start building your emergency fund slowly. Add whatever you can, $5, $10, $20 per week. The amount matters less than the habit. This fund becomes your personal safety net, protecting both your budget and your peace of mind. Because when life surprises you, and it will, you want to respond with confidence, not panic. Tip 7. Cut credit use and make debt a priority. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, your money keeps slipping away? Almost like you're running on a treadmill that never stops? That feeling often comes from debt. Every time you use a credit card, you're borrowing from your future self. And interest is the price you pay for that shortcut. At first, it doesn't seem like much, just a small minimum payment. But over time, those payments pile up, and suddenly a huge part of your income is going toward past purchases, instead of things you want right now. It's like dragging a heavy backpack everywhere you go. So here's the shift. Pause using credit cards for everyday spending and start focusing on paying down your debt, one piece at a time. You don't need big payments. Even an extra $20, $30, or $50 toward your smallest or highest interest debt builds momentum fast. Every debt you clear is one less weight on your shoulders, and one step closer to financial freedom you can actually feel. Tip 8. Lower your electricity and utility costs. Have you ever opened your electricity bill and thought, how did it get this high, even though nothing major changed? Utility costs are sneaky. They rise slowly, almost silently. And because we're so used to them, we rarely question how much we're actually using. But small habits make a huge difference. Leaving lights on in empty rooms, running appliances at the most expensive hours, or keeping devices plugged in even when they're not being used, all of these quietly add up month after month. And because we don't see the immediate impact, we don't realize how much money is slipping through the cracks. Take a moment each week to be intentional with your energy use. Turn off lights you're not using, unplug devices, and run power-heavy appliances during cheaper off-peak hours if your area allows it. These tiny adjustments don't change your lifestyle. They just reduce waste. And even saving $10 or $15 a month strengthens your budget and gives you more control over where your money goes. Tip 9. Try DIY before paying professionals. Have you ever paid someone for a simple repair and then later realized you probably could have done it yourself? This happens more often than we think. A loose cabinet handle, a dripping faucet, a clogged drain, a dead battery in a device. Many of these problems look complicated at first, but they're usually simple once you know what to do. And with the internet, you can find step-by-step guides for almost anything. People are often surprised when a repair that cost them $50 or $100 could have been fixed in 10 minutes with a basic tool they already had. You don't need to be a DIY expert or have a toolbox full of equipment. You just need the willingness to try. Each small fix saves money, builds your confidence, and frees up more room in your budget without sacrificing quality or safety. Tip 10. Review and adjust your budget regularly. Have you ever created a budget that worked perfectly for a while and then suddenly stopped making sense? That's completely normal. Life changes. Your income shifts, bills go up, new expenses appear, old expenses disappear, and your priorities evolve. A budget isn't supposed to stay the same forever. But many beginners make the mistake of creating a budget once and never touching it again. It's like setting a GPS route and refusing to adjust when the road changes. Eventually, you end up off track, frustrated, and feeling like budgeting just doesn't work. Set a monthly check-in with yourself. Look at what worked, what didn't, and what surprised you. Update your budget based on your current reality, not last month's habits. After the first 90 days, you'll understand your patterns better, and you can switch to reviewing it every 2 or 3 months. This simple routine keeps your budget alive, accurate, and actually helpful, so your money continues moving in the direction you want. You now have the 10 simplest, most effective budget tips for beginners. But here's the truth. None of this works unless you save your money properly. So your next step is easy. Watch our last video. $6,000 savings starting today. 11.5 simple money tricks that work. It'll show you exactly how to save your money so your budget finally sticks. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for more simple financial guides that actually work. See you in the next one.